Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to The Glow.
Hello.
We are here ready to chit-chat with you guys. I hope that you're ready to learn bunches. Today's information is going to be little snippets of things that you can do to work your business. But before we start that, I want to welcome each of our co-hosts. So, Miss Dawn, how are you this evening?
Hello.
And we have Miss Edie. How are you, sugar?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. Miss Katie, say hello.
Hi, everyone.
And Miss Christina is probably dealing with mom life issues.
She actually is trying to get on right now. She said
there we
she
go.
was on another call, but she's coming on.
Awesome. So Christina
Yay!
will be joining us shortly. Now, super exciting things have happened today in the world of Cincy. Super exciting things. Two things in particular that are super duper exciting. There's Miss Christina. Good evening.
Oh, look at her skinny face.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
Ultra skinny.
your slender jawline. Okay, guys, we have two exciting things happening in the Cincy family today. Today is New Year's Day. Did you realize that? You might have thought it was like in January, but it's not, because Cincy's fiscal year starts on May 1st. What does that mean for you guys as consultants? It means that you are in a fresh new year for annual sales award and for annual mentor award. So if you don't know what those are, you might be missing out on some recognition and some bonus cash. So what I want you to do, if you don't know what those are, is go to your workstation, look at your consultant guide, and you will find that information on there under annual awards. Now, the other super exciting thing you should have gotten an email about today, and it is the, oh, Miss Edie's showing us the consultant guide. How about that? I don't know that I have a physical copy. I just look it up online all the time. Today is the first day of summer incentive. And guys, I think I am more excited about this summer incentive than a lot of them in the past. So make sure you've looked at your email, you've looked at all the requirements, because guys, this is probably the most doable and most attainable of all summer incentives. And you can earn a gorgeous new warmer. I so have to have that warmer, like must have that warmer. And also event credit. So you can help pay your way towards reunion or leadership or Star Summit or Superstar Summit or boot camp. So those are some of the awesome events, and you can earn credit towards those events. So wanted to make sure that you guys knew about those things, but let's jump right into our topic for the night. And tonight we are going to be talking about ways that you can work your business with just 30 minutes each day. So although I'm lucky enough to work my Cincy business full time, I'm still a crazy busy mom, and I'm traveling all the time doing mission work. So there are some days that I do good to squeeze my 30 minutes in a day. Now, I know a lot of you guys that are hobbyists or part-time consultants, you're moms too, and your time is precious. So I am asking or letting you know that if you can just carve out 30 minutes each day for your business, we're going to give you some powerful tips of how to best use that time. And Miss Edie, we are going to swing right over your way. And Edie, what are you going to be talking to us about tonight?
I am going to talk to you guys about utilizing or maximizing your messaging systems, whether it be Facebook messages or emails, okay? One of the things that you learn in every business book that you read, they tell you not to start off your morning by checking your emails because you get sucked in. So I'm going to agree with that. And the 30 minutes that you're going to utilize should not be spent reading emails the whole 30 minutes. So I want to utilize some things that you, or give you some hints on some things that you can do to minimize the time that you spend on email so that you can have more income producing activities during that 30-minute span that we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm glad that I'm talking about it first, because it's one of those things that we kind of need to organize and put to the side and know where we need to look in order to find information, whether it's texting that you're using or private messaging on Facebook or utilizing email. You want to make sure that you're organizing everything in a sense of accessibility. So whether you're sorting things by, I have folders, I use Gmail, and I like Gmail only because it allows me access on every platform, on every mobile device that I have. No matter where I am, I can access it, which is most email platforms nowadays. But the thing that I like about Gmail is it includes calendar, and you've got some other things that you can utilize with it. But what you want to make sure is I create folders. So I have join potential, I have host potential, I have customers, I have home office. So I've created folders for every type of email that I might get in. And so what happens is I know where that priority list comes from. If it's something from home office, it probably needs to be looked at fairly recent or fairly quickly, but probably not as quickly as I would want to respond to somebody who says that they want to join or that they're interested in joining. I want to make sure that I give them my precious time. That 30 minutes might go to them if that's something that's happening in that day. So organize your emails in a way that you can search for them, that you can look for what you need to look for, and then maybe in 5 or 10 minutes a day, you can go back and say, okay, let me go look at my hostess potentials and see if there is somebody that I can contact right now so that I can book some parties. Or maybe there's a join special and you want to go to your join folder and check for people that have talked about joining, okay? So in your emails, make sure that you're organizing them by priority. And I know that Gmail actually has a sorting system that it comes with right away. I don't use it. I prefer to use my own sorting system. I also use the stars that it has, so I will accent them so that I know what's important. Anything that needs to be taken care of right away, I keep it as unread. And I do the same thing in Facebook messages. So if there are people that are messaging me, I make sure that I read it, but then I go back and mark it as unread, because what happens is it stays bold, and then I can sort by all my unread messages and go through all of the things that need to be taken care of right away, okay? I find that that's something that I've used right from the beginning. I have my Facebook page as well as my personal page, and I do that for both. I'll mark them unread so that I know I need to go back to them and that there's something still needing to be done for that particular person, or that I need to follow up with. In regards to texting, I mean, that is something that I would put aside time and say, okay, these are the people that I need to text. Maybe you can use something like Dial My Calls or Sly Dial, or there's another texting one that I just learned about, and I don't have my phone with me.
I think Katie's going to go over a bunch of those with us.
Okay.
Too, so that'll be awesome.
Okay, good. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing things like that, and Katie can talk about that more. But that will keep you more organized and more prioritized, which I think when you're dealing with a 30-minute time frame, that's something that's vital, is that you prioritize what your day needs to include in order to have income-producing activities. And what I mean by income-producing activities, I mean that the things that you are doing, not surfing the web, not looking at videos, you know, not those types of things, but things that you do that will create or produce income now or later, okay? So that's how you want to prioritize your emails and your messages. I know that all platforms have message capabilities now, so you want to do the same type of thing. Make sure that you read them, but prioritize where it needs to be in your 30-day or 30-minute time frame, okay, if that's all you've got is 30 minutes. That's really all I wanted to talk about, Jamie. It wasn't a lot, and I knew it wouldn't be a lot, but maybe I can jump in some other places tonight.
Absolutely. I think that was really helpful. I don't do that. I don't sort my emails.
No?
And I tried to take the time one time to like label all my Facebook friends, and I got distracted. It happens.
Yeah, the labeling can be tough, especially if you're backtracking.
Right.
But I find that with like private messages within Facebook, it's so easy for me to mark it as unread, and then I can sort by unread, and only the things that I have to do will come up, and it totally gets rid of all that other garbage in between. So it just makes it easier for prioritizing what needs to be done.
Love that. Well, we're just going to jump right on over to Katie, because I know what she wants to share with us is just going to piggyback off of Edie. So take it away, my dear.
Thanks, ladies. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're having a wonderful night. If you're watching us live, hello. If you're watching the playback, we're glad that you're here and making time to do this. What I want to talk to you about is using your limited time to connect with your team. So as you're planning your week, this is something that I always do every Sunday night. I will Sunday evening take some time to go through my planner and find my opportunities, my windows of opportunity to work my business throughout the week. So yeah, sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's, hey, I'm sitting here at the dentist's office waiting and I'm going to use this 10 minutes. You'll find when you really pay attention to your week that you have little nuggets of time, little windows of time all throughout your week. And it's important to kind of plan that time ahead, because when you're more prepared, you're going to be more successful. And so the 30 minutes or the 20 minutes or the 15 or whatever that you've got to work your business, maybe that day or a couple times throughout the day, what's super duper important is that you've planned ahead and you have identified what your most income producing activities are. So often I hear consultants getting caught up in so many different things, and they've got this much time to work their business, and they're spending that little time that they have on stuff that isn't going to produce income. So it's very important that you really know what income producing tasks are and that you're making time for those things only. So many things that are not income producing, you can delegate. I've got a girl in my neighborhood that I can pay with Scentsy bars. Like, she lives next door to me, and if I was like, hey, I'm in a pinch, can you come over and do this for me? She'd do it, and she'd let me pay her in Scentsy bars. There's people like that in your life that you can delegate to that it might not even cross your mind. So anyway, what I want to talk to you specifically about tonight, I just really wanted to add that because I think it's super important that you're making sure that you're making time for your IEPs, your I can't even think, income producing tasks, your IPTs. Make sure that you're making time for those things. But
Katie,
what I want
the special ed teacher in me, just like a light bulb went off, because an IEP is an individualized education plan.
Oh yeah. Okay. IPT. That's right. Income producing task. Yeah. Those IPTs. It's been a long day, guys. As you can tell, I'm still in my workout clothes. Good thing we don't have smell-o-vision right now. I'm just saying.
I am too. I just threw a shirt over it.
You look way cuter than me. She's looking so fierce tonight, and I'm looking so wretched. But anyway. Okay, so talking with your team. This is obviously an income-producing task. It might not be immediate income-producing task. Like, you're not necessarily going to have a conversation with a team member and then, oh, there's $20 in sales, or there's a booking. But pouring into your downline is absolutely income-producing. And it's not just about the right now, it's about your future. So it's really important that you include that in your income producing tasks as you're thinking about your week. And communicating with your team can be so fast and so easy. It doesn't have to be this all-consuming thing. Most people don't want to get on a phone call nowadays, to just be totally honest with you. And if I do get on a phone call with people, I am certain to make it brief. All my coaching calls, 20 minutes, 25 minutes at the most. And I'll tell them, hey, I know your time is super valuable, so I am going to be quick. Let's just dive right in. And we just hit those bullet points. So when you do get on the phone with your team members, understand that your time is valuable and their time is valuable. So if you've got 30 minutes, spend 20 minutes on the phone with them. And then you still got 10 minutes to do whatever else you need to do. But communicating with your team is super, super important. So if you're anything like me, for the longest time, I really would put it off, and I didn't want to do coaching calls. a big part of it was because I just felt like I wasn't good enough, didn't know enough, didn't really have any value to provide to people. For the longest time, I was terrified to do coaching calls. And then I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? If I'm doing them right, it's mainly them talking to me anyway, and me more listening than anything. And then just providing input here and there as needed. But anyway, another way that I love to communicate with my team is not only in coaching calls, but my number one favorite way to communicate with my team is through Facebook Private Messenger. If you don't already have Facebook Messenger downloaded as an app on your phone, you absolutely need to do it. It'll look like, God, if you're going to see, I have 12 messages right now. See, this is what Facebook Messenger looks like. There we go. It's a white square with a little blue circle in the middle and like a little lightning bolt. That's Facebook Messenger. Why I love Facebook Messenger is because I'm able to, when I'm driving in the car, when I'm sitting at the dentist's office, when I am just wherever. I've even done it on the treadmill. I've even done it while I've been working out, thanks to these babies. But my point is, it's very convenient and on the go. And if I am laying in bed at 10 o'clock at night and that's when I want to send some voice messages, I can do that because it's not so intrusive. It's not like they're getting a text alert or getting a phone call at 10 o'clock at night. I know I'm sending this voice message because, hey, it's on my mind, or hey, this is my window of time I have to work my business. And I can send those voice messages and they're just going to get it when they get it. And they're going to listen to it, whenever they are able to listen to it. So the other thing that's so great about Facebook Messenger and using the voice messenger feature, I should have specified that. I'm talking about using the voice message feature. They get to hear your voice. They get to hear your excitement. They get to hear your passion. They get to truly connect with you on such a deeper level than just typing some crap out. That's why I like Facebook Live parties. That's why I hate posting stuff, because to me, there's no feeling there. It's getting to communicate, and they hear my voice. They hear my voice inflections. Just yesterday, I was going through my workstation, and one of the things I like to do midway through the month is run my reports and just spend the time looking and trying to see who's close to a promotion. Halfway through the month, that's one of my things. And so halfway through the month I did it, and then again yesterday I did it to some people that were close. And I just sent them a quick little voice message, and I'm like, hey girl, I'm so proud of you. You're only 200 group wholesale away from star, or whatever. It takes 2 seconds to send that voice memo. I was able, if I needed to, I could have sent 30 voice messages in 30 minutes easily. So that's one of the ways I love to communicate, and it's just so real. Another way that I really like to communicate with my downline is slide dial broadcast. So you've probably heard of slide dial before. Slide dial is an app on your phone. In fact, we talked about it last month. Slide dial is an app, but slide dial broadcast is a website, and it's a paid service, yes, but holla, we need those we need those write-offs, right? So thank God for the write-offs. So Slide Dial Broadcast is a paid service, and it works like this. Basically, I do pay as you go. So I pay $60 for 1,000 delivered voicemails. You pre-record voicemails. There's a phone number that they provide you that you call in, and you just follow the steps, and you pre-record voicemails. So I have voicemails for welcome to the group, don't cancel, happy Centiversary month, happy birthday month, congratulations on every single promotion up the comp plan, reinstatements. So all of these are recorded, pre-recorded. And depending on which one it is, some of them I run a report once a week. I run the report, let's say it's welcomes, and I have 15 people who joined our group. All I do is run a report in the workstation, make sure that the cell phone numbers are in there, export it to Excel. I mean, this takes 3 minutes. Export it to Excel, copy and paste all the cell phone numbers, and plug them in. It wouldn't matter if there's 15 of them or 500 of them. You just copy and paste it. You select which voicemail you want that's already saved in your file. And so it would be selecting the welcome one. And then you can send it right now, like as you're doing it, or you can schedule it. And you're only charged if it actually is in fact delivered. You're only charged for delivered voicemails. So here's why I'm obsessed with this. People hear me and it feels so personal because it goes directly to their cell phone voicemail. And so the very first month I did it, which was, I guess about a month and a half ago, it was after the retreat I went to here in Florida with Becca and Callie. It was an amazing retreat, and they're the ones who actually told me about it, and I have been obsessed with it ever since. But after the first round I sent out was birthdays for the month. I must have got 15 text messages or or Facebook messages saying, "Thank you so much for my birthday voicemail. That was so nice." Like, people felt so connected to me. And that act took me, I mean, realistically, running the report, exporting it to Excel, and then copying and pasting it. I mean, literally, that probably took 4 minutes, maybe. So it's a super fast way to connect with your team, and they get to hear you, and they just feel special. So those are just a couple things that I wanted to share with you for how I communicate with my team in a really fast way. And one of them is free, and the other is very, very inexpensive. 60 delivered voicemail. I'm sorry, 1,000 delivered voicemails for $60. That's a very, very good deal. And depending on the size of your team, that could last you quite a long time. So those are just a few ways that I like to communicate with my team on the fly, in a hurry.
I love that, Katie. Edie, did you want to jump in with something?
I do. So that slide dial broadcast is just like Dial My Calls, and it's based on the same thing. So either one you guys can try, and I'm not sure which one is less expensive or more expensive, or if they're the same. But you do the same thing. You pay per voicemail, and you can pre-record it. The one thing I wanted to say is that if you are in your workstation and you do your report, you bring up the people that are needing to get this voicemail or that you want to export, you don't actually need to export it. If you choose columns and only choose the phone number, you can actually highlight from the beginning of the open parentheses all the way to the closed parentheses or the last number in the list, and then just copy and paste it right into the broadcast app. So you don't actually have to export it. So if you're so you do your report, find the people that you're wanting to connect with, and then choose visible columns. Only select phone or cell phone or home, whichever one you're doing, cell phone probably, and only have the cell phone list come up. And if you go inside of the first cell of the first phone number and highlight right before the open parentheses, and then all the way down in the list to the last number of the last phone number, you can actually copy and paste right from there without having to export it. You can do that with everything. So like if I'm doing a top 10 people in my group for PRV or whatever, I'll do the report so I'll know what order it's in. And then I remove all the columns except for the name, and I'll highlight from the first letter. And the reason that I'm saying the first letter to the last letter is because if you actually highlight the cells themselves, you're going to get like a bunch of garbage. So you're just wanting to highlight the text. So the very first letter to the very last letter in the column, highlight the whole thing, and then you can just copy and paste. So I just wanted to share that.
I'm so freaking excited. Like, we're not even halfway through, and I'm telling you. I've used Slide Dial before, but I've never used this broadcast or Dial My Calls. I mean, I am excited. Guess what I'll be doing tomorrow? Setting up some calls. All right, we are going to pretty much totally switch gears. And we're going to swing over to Miss Dawn, and she is going to talk to us about using this 30 minutes to prep your business so you're ready when it's time for business to happen.
That's right. And I even have a little bag ready to go. Now, I have this bag. My girlfriend, here, let me move the cat. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. but this is the 31 bag. My girlfriend sells 31, and she supports my business, and I support hers. But the cool thing about this, do they make earbuds with longer cords? Because I am like truly tethered, because my plug-in hole is clear back there on my tower. Okay, now let me show you the cool things that are in this bag. The number one most important cool thing that is in this bag, you know the boxes that our bars come in? Guess what? If you cut it down a little bit, it fits perfectly inside the zip top utility tote. Where's the edge? Can you see it here? Okay. So it is like the perfect size, and it makes it rigid so it doesn't like flop down in. Then you can compartmentalize. So I have bags ready to go. Someone stalks over and they need something. 2 different size bags. I have these cool things that I made that says, hello, I am your blank warmer. I take a blank watt size Scentsy bulb, or I am an element warmer with a heating plate, no bulb needed. And then I circle that. Anytime I sell a warmer, this is like ready to go in the top of it with like a cute little sample and one of these mints. But then I tell them my recommended cube usage per, and I write the name of the warmer in there. I'm your so-and-so warmer. I tell them how they absorb. I mean, because there's so much. I mean, you don't know if they're gifting this or if they're the kind of person that like tries to stretch their wax for a week and they would have a better Scentsy experience. There's all these things that you could have ready to go to use to help enrich your customer's experience. So I have that there. Then I have these cool things that says, your place smells awesome. Earn stuff for free with a catalog party. Like it, love it, want it all, blah, 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 with my contact information. Then I have, these are cute. These say, a teeny treat from Spice Dawn to help make opening this order a little sweeter. So everybody gets like a little candy in with their little thing that tells them, you know, about how many cubes and all that stuff. Here's all my different warmer of the month flyers. Those go in every one because you never know who's going to want a typewriter or a gnome. So you stick that in there. I have all kinds of interesting things in here. I got to tell you, I'm ready to go. So when I have those little 30-minute bits of time, Katie calls them nuggets, which I love the word nugget because it reminds me of those little chocolate things. Not kisses, but the other people's, okay, nuggets. And you can just make use of your time by having this stuff ready to go. Bam. That way you're not slowing yourself down. Another thing that I like to use in my business is Melissa Simmons is the genius on this. Okay, she's the one that first told me about this. And I'll admit I did it at first and then like I had more and more friends and it got ahead of me and the wheels came off. But you can take 15 of your 30 minutes a day that you're not getting all your business prepared so that you're ready, and you can start sorting your Facebook friends into lists, because the key to this is engagement. So say you have a list and it's called Scentsy customers or Scentsy hostesses, which could be in the same list because you never know what customer could turn out to be a hostess, just like in the blink of an eye. So I would think that you could put those together. But what you want to do is you want to pull up that list and go through the feed for that list only, because you don't want to leave it up to fate where you see that somebody, you know, just had something cool happen in their life. You want to have all of those people in the same news feed so you can scroll, see what's going on, and more importantly, most importantly, is make a comment, because you can use that little nugget of time during the day to create engagement with your focus list. Okay, so I mean, if you want to catch up with your family, that's fine too. Do that while you're laying in bed at night or something. But you know, have your focus list as your Scentsy customers and go through. Don't just stalk them and, you know, see what they're up to. Make a comment, because when you make a comment, you are showing that you're interested in their life. An algorithm on Facebook knows this, and then they have a higher likelihood of seeing what you are posting. So if I see somebody that comments on one of my posts, I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? And it just puts them at the front of their mind. And you want that. I mean, you want that because this is a relationship nurturing business. But you want that because I think that's an income producing task, so that you can go through this list. If you're just looking at it to look at it, that's not the powerful part. You have to engage. It's called social media. It's engagement. So you really want to, even if it's a little quickie thing. Now you can turn off notifications for the post, which, you know, we all sometimes do, because sometimes there's a lot of engagement on a particular post and you don't want notified every time her cousin Larry comments or something like that. But still, you have put yourself there. You've made your comment. She'll tag you or reply to your comment, which then, you know, you'll know about. But those are my two things. Having your business ready to go. I keep something like this also similar in my car. I have something in my car that's just similar to that. But this is in my little Scentsy showroom area where I have my bars and my warmers and everything displayed. So anytime somebody comes over, bam, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think, oh, did I give them this or did I give them that? It's all ready to go. So use your time to prep that, and also use your time to, it's going to take a while if you're as behind as I am with friends. But if you just work at it 15, 30 minutes a day, putting people into those lists, I promise you, it will get done. I promise you.
I have a
Anybody
tip
else
for that.
have anything? Okay, good. Tell me.
Every day we get notifications of people's birthdays on Facebook.
Mhm.
So I take that day and I will sort everybody's name at that point. So like when their birthdays come up, I will say, okay, this is a customer, this is a friend, this is a hostess, this is whatever. And so at the end of the year, you'll have gotten everybody.
Okay, that's good.
When you have a lot, like I've got 5,000, when you have a lot of friends and stuff, it takes a long time to backtrack. So to me, that was kind of a good way to get in there and know that I was getting everybody.
Well, that's a very good idea, and I might start utilizing the birthday list as well. I was going through my date book, which has my Scentsy hostesses. I was going through slips and doing it that way because that was a tangible right in front of me, and I knew that I could get that focus list a good portion of the way started. For me, getting something actually started is huge. I can't.
That's the battle.
Well, I mean, you know what? I could add like some of my random folks through their birthday. But like seriously, if you can't count 10 or 20 customers off the top of your head, you know, so get them slammed into that list first so that you can start seeing what they're doing and tell them that their daughter's prom dress was beautiful. You don't want to tell them that, how did you let her leave the house dressed like that? That's not the right kind of engagement for this focus group, okay? But yeah, just start engaging and commenting. Always comment. Don't just hit like or love. Type a freaking word, even if it's the word yippee or wow.
Dawn, that's going to be my instant comment for you now is yippee.
Yippee. I type yippee more than you will ever freaking know. There's a lot of yippies in my life.
Oh, that was very helpful information. Thank you so much, Dawn.
Remember, Melissa Simmons gets credit for that list thing because she is
credit given where credit was due. I love it. I love it. I love it. Miss Christina, We are so excited that you're here to talk about, well, I know I'm excited that you're here to talk about scalable systems.
Can you see that be okay? I think so. I can see my little green thing popping up and down.
You do look really skinny. Skinny.
Thank
Skinny.
you. I would like a brownie, but yes, thank you. No, Edie, that was a great point with the birthdays. I also look at the birthdays and I click their profile, and if there's somebody I only know through Scentsy and they've joined another company, that's when I unfriend them on their birthday. I'm sorry, but that's just my birthday present.
I plead the fifth. I may or may not have had a happy birthday.
So if anybody ever notices suddenly we're not friends anymore and it was around your birthday, you should probably consider I'm just if we only have Scentsy in common and you go at me, sorry guys, I love you all and I wish you all the best anything you do, but on your birthday over time.
Bye.
I'm bad. Okay. Anyway, I'm talking to you guys about something you probably have heard about before. I'm pretty excited. I guess they added this to the boot camp training. So you guys are getting it for free today. So I have been letting everyone down because I told everyone there'd be a digital version of this coming. And look at my phone. I did want to show you that it is out there. I just have not filmed my, so I'm using Trello. I don't know if you guys can see my screenish, not really, kind of, but I have it set up in Trello. So once I have finished the public version of this, there will be a public link of my scalable systems for 2017 digitally, and then you guys can kind of copy paste and set up your own. So, but I wanted to show you guys the paper version. I have not updated the paper version yet. It's got notes all over it in another copy so that I know what I really do. But I do want to show you guys the basics of scalable systems. So basically, a lot of times when someone becomes a director, their first thing is, oh my gosh, I have so many things to do. How do you does anybody have a schedule of what they do? Because I'm drowning. And I was one of those people, and on the workstation a long time ago, I don't think the training is there anymore. It was back 2012 when I learned about this, and it was a training that they actually had on the workstation where a girl was talking about her weekly calendar, and I was like, a weekly calendar. Well, that kind of makes sense. And she only did certain tasks of certain categories on certain days. So I want to kind of show you what that is. A lot of you have seen it. If not, go to YouTube, search Scalable Systems and my name, and you'll get like a more in-depth thingy about it. So, but I'm just going to kind of tell you why I think it's important when you're trying to work your business in a small amount of time. I've got 2 tiny kids. One's not so tiny, but extra annoying. But then I have the tiny one. I don't know which one causes me more problems every day. I mean, it's just like, you would think the baby would be more troublesome. It's the 6-year-old most of the time. But I do find I only have nuggets during the day to do things. And I can't always plan them out because we don't know when meltdowns happen. So I just have to kind of find my free windows and then roll with them. But what was happening without a schedule is when my free window would open up, my mind would go, like I have 1,000 different things in my head that I know I should be doing. And it was so hard for me to commit to one and like figure out which one was the most important to do. I just could not prioritize them. And then I would find myself doing things that didn't matter as much and filling my time up with things that weren't moving my business forward. So what I started doing was I decided that I was going to make Mondays the day that I focus on my customers. Tuesdays was going to be the day where I focus on my team. Wednesdays were going to be my delivery days, and then on the weekends if I need it. And then Thursdays are they used to be my recruit and hostess days, but instead I made recruit and team on the same day and then hostess and customer on the same day. And Thursday is now my digital day. It's when I do a lot of my digital stuff like scheduling posts and setting up Facebook parties. It's when I usually host most of my Facebook parties because I like them on Thursday nights, because for some reason, there's just not a lot of competition on Thursday nights for things. So I do a lot of things on Thursday nights. And if they pick Thursday, as their night for their party, I usually will throw in something special because I like things to be on that certain night. That's when I will carve out all the time in the world to do them. And then Fridays are my business day. It's when I do all my business tasks. So, but the nice thing about this is, and why it matters, is as things come into my brain throughout the week, I don't use my planner for my schedule. Everything's digital for me when it comes to like calendar and where I need to be and things like that. But my to-do list, I just can't, for some reason, the reminders on the phone just don't really do it for me. So what I was doing before Trello was I would just use my planner. And so what I have on my planner is customers, team, deliveries, on this respective days. So customers is Monday. And so anytime I have a to-do list item pop into my head, say it's a Thursday, and I know that it's not time sensitive, which a lot of times if you sit back and think about things, they're not as time sensitive as you think they are when you're panicking about them. Like, I place my, customers are Mondays because usually I party on the weekends. And so Mondays is when I, Scentsy party on the weekends. I don't party. Mondays are when I will put the orders in. Mondays are when I do things like send out my customer newsletters. Mondays are when I will do all of my follow-up. So I do the 2-2-2 whatever thing the best that I can for follow-up, but I usually do everything on Mondays. So I will text people on Mondays about a Friday night party and just, ask if they have any questions or just thank them for coming. So Mondays are my follow-up days. The following Monday, I might ask them if they've gotten it, or 2 Mondays from then is when I would text them about how do they like their products? Have they been able to get with the host to get them yet? Things like that. So all of those tasks I squeeze on a Monday so that my brain isn't filled with them all week long and it getting in the way of me thinking about the things I need to focus on. So I have to do that because I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to do anything all day, but I do know that if I do have an hour, I have an extremely organized task list for that hour. So I want to show you what the actual scalable systems look like. So that's my to-do list area of it. But this right here is my, so today was Monday. This is customer day. So what I did when I was making this was I wrote down every single task that I do every month. So my to-do list is for things that kind of cycle, things that I may not do every week. Like I'm not going to text Danielle every week. So that's something that's going to go on my to-do list. Or, but things that I do know for sure I do every month, those go on my hard copy here that I know I've got to do. So what I did is when I made that list, I decided, is this something I typically do the first week? Is this something I typically do the last week? Is this something I should do around warmer of the month time? And that's how I set up my weeks. And that's why I kind of gave everyone a copy on the internet of this, because sometimes it's really hard to organize your mind and trying to figure out, when do I normally do that? Especially if you're just so used to doing it scattered all month long. So I kind of put things around the best time that I feel like you would do them. So I'm just going to give you a little example because I don't want to take up all of our time. And like I said, you can get the full training on the YouTubes. And these are downloadable on there. But I have a little thing up here that this is what I do every single Monday. So I check it off week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And then these are things I only do once a month. So week 1, I'll do these things plus the things I do every Monday. Week 2, I only do these things plus the things I do every Monday. So I have to be I don't know if everyone likes lists. I'm a big list things, or else I lose things. So this is kind of where that started from. So things I would do on week 1 for customers would be preparing birthday postcards, prepare any thank yous for parties or hostesses from the month before. Snail mail. I do texting for all my follow-up, but I will send just snail mail once in a while because happy mailboxes make me happy. So I for when I'm saying prepare any other mailings, I probably already texted them, but I am going to send them a thank you in the mail as well, just to be polite. I'm a lady. And then the first week I would email my personal monthly newsletter to my customers. And then I would also, if I hadn't yet, follow up with some PWS customers. So every single Monday, that's when I send out my thank you cards for the week for online orders. So every Monday is when I send thank you cards for that, because those don't usually go into my follow-up binder the same way that parties do. It's just weird the way my mind does it. So every Monday I send thank yous and I follow up with PWS customers. And like I have every Monday director call. Like at the end of a Monday, this is just for customers. This is my Monday customer day. Like the end of the month would be export all of the customers from the workstation into MailChimp and update your customer newsletter. So all the things that I would forget to do because they're just such a weird thing, like importing and exporting and all that kind of stuff. And like week 3 is about when you get your cent of the month kit. So on there is when I make samples. So week 3 of every month on a Monday is when I make my samples. I don't do those throughout the month. I literally only do them the 3rd Monday of every month. So this is just how I organize that. And then like Tuesday is team day. So the first week I would send out all of my recognition postcards. Second week is when I do some different kinds of phone calls. I do promotion phone calls or whatever on the second week, because that's when the workstation is usually updated with the promotions after payday. And then, yeah, week 3 or week 4 is when I will call check marks. I don't like to run the check mark report until like the 3rd week so that it doesn't scare me so much. So I have that task on the 3rd week. I don't look at it before then. And then like every Tuesday is training Tuesday on my team page. And I will mark all of those down. And as I do them, I can check them off. That way, if I only have 30 minutes, I can just grab this and I can just blow through what I can. And I know exactly what I got done, exactly what I still have left to do. And I can pick up right where I left off every single time without getting like cluttered in my mind. Because the thing is, when you lay everything down, before you pick it back up again, you're going to get like 10 more to-do list items, right? Through text message, through message, whatever. So as those kinds of things come in, I will literally go to my calendar and I will assign them a day, like where they belong. So if it's like a teammate who wants me to like, say if I, like on Sunday, I get a text from a teammate who's like, hey, I have some questions. Would you mind doing a phone call with me? I'll be like, hey, yeah, I have some time on Tuesday. Is that okay? That's going to serve one of two purposes. Number one, it's going to make sure that they understand that we have a ton of resources that they can check if they need to while they wait to get with you. So it's going to, people who are busy all the time, it's because sometimes they're on all the time. I do find that there is a lot of awesomeness in the delayed response. I am very big on not answering questions the second they're asked. Because what I do find is if I wait 15 to 20 minutes and then I respond, guess who has already found the answer? But if you are on all the time, they will use you as their first resource instead of all the awesome resources we have. So I'm a big scheduler. So if I'm going to have lunch with a teammate, if I'm going to do a phone call, or if they need like some face-to-face time, I'm like, you know what? Tuesday is a great day. How does that do for you? Because what that does is it helps them they have to kind of look to their resources. I will text them and I will, all that kind of stuff. But if they want like a chunk of like goodness, then I will schedule that in my planner on a Tuesday because that's team day. It just helps me set boundaries. And I think that boundaries are just really, really important. It helps me set boundaries in a lot of different ways. Customers who think that you need to be on all the time. The reason I have my customer day, number one, the first day, is because it's after parties. And then I also know that on Wednesday is my delivery days. And then weekends I have parties. So I have basically 3 times during the week where my customers know I'm 100% theirs. Mondays, I'm all theirs. Wednesdays, I'm all theirs pretty much because I'm doing deliveries or whatever I need to do that day. And then weekends because parties. So the nice thing about that is I know that they can't just say, hey, can I drop by on Tuesday? I'm like, actually busy on Tuesday, but Wednesday is perfect for me. So like, it just helps you feel like you're a little more in control and gives you permission to say yes or no better. And I just think it's so important to find boundaries. I've just seen so many people quit because they felt like they were on all the time and they were so overwhelmed. They said it took away so much time from their family and things like that. What takes a lot of time away? Number one, responding immediately to everyone who texts you takes a lot of time away from your family. Don't do that. Assign it a day or a time and then get back to it later. And then another thing is keeping your to-do list in your mind all the time instead of transferring it down and then letting it go until it's time to actually look at it. Keeps you away from your family, keeps you from being fully focused on the things that matter. So I think that with a little bit of juggling and organization, a lot of times, mine is already set up pretty much for how I personally run my business. So a lot of people are like, hey, I want your printables. I'm like, cool. those are just a jumping off point for you though, because these are very personal to what I do with my business. Monday may not be a good customer day for you. Wednesdays may be a better day for you to work than others. So make sure that you guys don't just try to copy exactly what I do, because like, I mean, we all have different businesses. We all have different lives, different time frames, different demands, things like that. So this is just a good way for someone who wants to organize their week and wants to stop feeling like they aren't spending enough time with their kids, or that they don't feel like they have, like, I feel like before I did this, I never felt like I had permission to just turn it off. I felt like I owed so many people so much of my time, and I wasn't doing enough here and I wasn't doing enough there. And I just felt like there was so much guilt involved if I ever said no, or if I didn't do something right away, that I had to organize it. And this has helped my sanity, especially with the young children and knowing I only have a certain amount of time to do something. I just can't keep anything in my head anymore. So this just helps me just go, oh my gosh, I almost forgot to send my newsletter this month. I don't have to remember I send it every Friday or every whatever. So I love it. It works for me. It's worked for other people. Some people just don't work that way. It's totally fine. But I just feel like it offers hope to people who feel like they are just banging their head against the wall, doing too much, too many places, too many things, too many people. And they just don't feel like they have any them time, any family time, and things like that. So, it's
Christina,
just a way to feel like, yeah.
I know people are wondering, where are these printables? Did you say they're on YouTube?
Yeah, if you YouTube and you search Scalable Systems and my name, there's a link in the caption where you can download all the printables. There is the PDF if you want to just be exactly Christina Steenbrook, or there are Word documents so you can edit them. So
awesome.
and make them your own way. So, and then, yeah, I have made it digitally on Trello, because a lot of people are like, I just don't carry a planner with me everywhere. I don't want, like, if I'm sitting down at a baseball game, I want to be able to pull up my Scalable Systems and just plug a few things through and then shut it, be done with it, and then move along. So I was like, I get it. I'm kind of a half digital, half paper girl. Like, I'm just somewhere in between. So I have been learning Trello the last few months, and I have finally set it up the way that, honestly, I think I'm going to use it that way too. It's a really great app. So I'm going to make a video soon to show people how to set up the Scalable Systems in Trello in a way that helps them get the exact same function as the paper planner thing. So
love, love, love.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for making beautiful, pretty pictures for all of us. I've tried to use task lists and to-do lists, but mine never look as pretty as yours. So awesome. Well, I am going to close out our topic this week with some information about our newsletter. Now, I'm not talking about a newsletter that you have to create, because remember, we're talking about working your business in little bitty chunks of time, just 30 minutes a day or less. So we're going to talk about the newsletter that Scentsy does for you. So a couple things that I want to let you guys know about this newsletter is, number one, if you're not using it, you are missing out on a free tool that is already given to you if you have a personal website. So make sure you're using that tool that you're essentially already paying for when you're paying for your website. So all you need to do to be able to utilize this tool, there's actually two ways that you can add people to your newsletter. One way is, as you're putting in customer orders, when you fill in all their personal information, there is a box up at the top that says, subscribe this person, this customer, to my newsletter. Make sure that you're clicking yes, because if you're not, they're not getting your newsletter. The other way that you can do it is to go into your contacts tab on your workstation. And in your contacts tab, all you have to do is add a new contact. Now, let's talk about bare minimums. Bare minimum, what you need is first name, last name, email address, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom and click newsletter subscriber for Scentsy. Now, I said that's bare minimums. I would highly encourage you to input as much information as you have about that customer. Input address, phone number, so it's all easily accessible for you later when you need it. Now, when you're in your contacts tab and you're adding people as a contact, there is even like a notes section box that you can put things in there. Now, this is really helpful for me because I do quite a few events, like think like community festival events and things like that. So when I'm getting all those contact forms at those events and I'm going to my contact tab and I'm inputting them into my system, on that note section, I will say, met at, next weekend is Broken Arrow Rooster Days. I live in Oklahoma, y'all. We have Rooster Days. So in that section there, I can write BA Rooster Days 2017. So that way, when I get a message later from this person and I'm racking my brain going, where did I meet them? How do I know them? I can look them up in my contacts tab and it tells me right there. So I can be like, oh my gosh, it's been so long since Rooster Days. What have you been up to? And they're going to go, oh my gosh, she remembers me. So I love that. Keep notes. The bare minimum, first name, last name, email, make sure you click newsletter subscriber. Okay, now here's the really cool thing. A lot of people don't realize, and I'm going to stop staring at my face and I'm going to my workstation. So the light probably got brighter on my face. In your workstation, once you log in, I want you to click on the communication tab. Now, I used to say, oh, this is this useless tab because I don't want to use it for my email. I use an email system. However, I was missing a whole beneficial part of this tab, and that is that little blue box over on the left that says newsletter. If you click that tab, there is so much awesome information right in front of you. The very first thing is you can preview your newsletter. You can see what went out to your customers. So that is really helpful. Now, I have myself on my newsletter list, so I'm getting it when my customers get it. But if that's not the case, you can see what your newsletter is going to look like. Here are two huge things. On this report underneath where it says preview newsletter, you're going to see information like when is it mailing out, how many were sent, how many were delivered, how many bad email addresses or failed email addresses you have. And you can even click those, like where it says failed email address, you can click that and it will tell you the failed email addresses. And if you're looking at this person and you're like, oh my gosh, I just met them this weekend, they absolutely need to be getting my newsletter. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I must have your email wrong. Let's make sure I have it right. Okay, then the other one under that, under failed email addresses, it says identified visitors. Now this is people that did take the time to look at your newsletter. Okay, so that's really helpful information. Who's actually looking at your newsletter? I'm going to skip over total clicks and go to unique clicks. Now, total clicks and unique clicks are usually the same number. This is my favorite thing about this newsletter tab. If you click on where it says unique clicks, it's going to pull up a report, and it's usually not very many in comparison with how many are getting your email. But these are the people that have not just opened your newsletter and read your newsletter, but these are the people that have clicked on something within the newsletter. Now, sometimes it's whatever the featured warmer is. Like I had a couple this last month that clicked on Pops of Personality. So that was the feature article of last month. I had quite a few that clicked on Spring Brick Bliss. That told me to reach out to them and say, hey, I saw that you were interested in our bricks that we have to offer. I have an order going in on Friday. Would you like to order a brick? Because it's a warm market list is what we call that. It's warm because they've already taken the time to look at this information. And when you're reaching out to them, it's just like icing on top of the cake. Now, sadly, on this part, some of those unique clicks are also going to be opt-outs. It happens, y'all. People get lots of emails. Some people don't want to hear from us. So you will see that. But here's what I super love. If they have looked for information on being a hostess or information on joining your team, if they've clicked on that, you're going to know it, guys. This gives you a great list of people that you know you need to reach out to. Either they're thinking about hostessing a party or they're thinking about the business. So it gives you a great list of people to know who to reach out to. So back one more. The other is the unique opens. Unique opens are simply people that opened your newsletter and took the time to read it. And then underneath that, it is going to say new subscribers. Now, oftentimes my new subscribers are ones that I just added because they just placed an order with me. But I'm also going to be able to see the people that went to my website on their own and subscribed to my newsletter. So this is really cool because I do a lot of creative littering of catalogs. That means leaving them at dentist's office, at doctor's offices, maybe in the bathroom, wherever I might creatively litter my literature. They might have taken that and taken the time to go to my website and subscribe to my newsletter. If they've done that, I'm going to take the time to send them an email that said, hey, glad you subscribed to my newsletter. I'm happy to help you. Please let me know if there's anything else that I can do. It's just another chance for me to reach out to them so they can see that I'm actively working my business. Because let's face it, guys, many, many people in this business are not actively working their business. So the fact that you're watching this training and the fact that you're actively working your business has already put you steps ahead of many others in this game. So make sure that you're taking the time to reach out to your customers and your downline and let them know that you are actively working your business. So that newsletter tab is super beneficial if you're using it correctly, if you're checking those reports and taking the time to know who is reading your newsletter and who is going past reading it and actually looking on other things outside of just the featured story. So, Miss Edie, I know you were excited to hear about that. Did you learn something new?
I did.
I'm amazed that I taught Miss Edie something.
I knew that you could see. I guess I just never took the time to look into it. I never thought it was a resource that was really going to be beneficial. And I knew that I could see how many failed newsletters went out. And so that always deterred me to go look at the ones that actually went through. So I have something to do tomorrow.
Excellent. And you know, I've had a couple times where it's people that I know they want my newsletter, but I typed in their email wrong or something like that. So, you know, it's not just telling you the people that have opted out. It's also telling you the ones you screwed up on.
Right.
Typing them in.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys.
That's awesome.
I hope that, ladies, do you have anything else to share before we wrap it up tonight?
I think the biggest thing that everybody here talked about was income producing activities. So if you're going to take 30 minutes of your day, whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or a whole day, just make sure that the actions that you are taking are going to produce income for your business, because otherwise it's wasted time.
I also think it's really important to remember that no matter how much you love an action, if it's not getting results, it's time to say goodbye.
Exactly.
I know people who will spend hours making flyers for Facebook, and then they post these flyers on their personal pages and no one likes it, no one comments, no customers care. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, I know that it's fun to make flyers and they're pretty, but maybe we should try another thing, or
and
try a
to go
different
with that,
approach, or
Christina,
or
it's
making samples
reevaluating
too. Yeah. Just
Reevaluating
find out what works.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes we think certain things are fun to do and they look cute and they're whatever, but if they're not getting results, make sure that you're spending your time in better ways, no matter how cute and fun that was, or you spend a lot less time doing it than you were. So I know people who make samples and their customers don't really respond to samples. And I'm like, you have like 10,000 samples in your basement. Maybe it's time to stop making samples so much. I know they're cute and molds are cute and it's fun, but let's scale the sample making back, because you'll have people making samples with no intention to give them away. Like they think that they're doing something productive for their business. So yeah, making your 30 minutes or the time you have count. and not doing things that aren't making you money is super, super important. I mean, it's hard sometimes to determine that, and sometimes it hurts to determine it, but you gotta cut the fluff sometimes.
Cut the fluff. Well, and
Otherwise,
I think
you're
that goes with
crazy and busy and upset and feel like you don't have time for your family, and it's because you got too much fluff.
you're doing busy stuff, busy work. And I agree with that. I mean, I think what happens is you need to reevaluate your activities periodically, you know, whether that's monthly or, you know, and I would put that with part of what Christina's Scalable systems are, is that you're going to have to reevaluate to see if those things are actually producing the outcomes that you originally thought that they would. And if they're not, then you need to adjust sales. You know, you need to adjust your sales for the wind to pick up on it.
Yeah. I use the weekly thing as a way to track too. Like, I know that I did it on Monday. So if, you know, for a couple of months I've done this every Monday and nobody who matters cares, it's time to cut it out. It's like team incentives. They're fun to do. They make you feel good to give. But if they're not getting you any results or the same people keep winning, it's probably time to do something else. I don't think I've ran a team incentive in 2 years. Because
I do
honestly,
one very infrequently.
I think when you pay attention to some of the most successful consultants and the ones that have grown so quickly, like the first person that comes to mind is Chloe Cox. Not that long. If you don't follow her, you can follow her on Facebook. If you don't follow her on Facebook, you should. You know, Chloe has grown an incredible business very quickly, in my opinion, very quickly. I mean, I think she's been with us 3 years, and she's a superstar director with over 1,300 people in her organization. And I really respect her business so much. And when she did a training for my team not that long ago and came in and live, and she talked about how she grew this business working full-time as a nurse. I mean, that's not an easy job to work Scentsy during and around being a nurse. You know, you don't have much downtime. And she really talked a lot about how she utilized 15 minutes here, 30 minutes here, 20 minutes here, you know, throughout the day. When you're walking to your car, leaving work, you should be leaving someone a voice message, whether you're following up with somebody or trying to book a party or having a recruiting conversation. You can do that in the 10 minutes it takes you to walk out of the door from work to your car. You know, it's really maximizing. I think the most important thing that you've got to do when you have limited time to work your business is just truly maximize the time that you've got and eliminate all time suckers and delegate everything that you can delegate. Anything you can delegate to your family, anything you can delegate to, you know, a teenager in the neighborhood, gotta delegate, because there are some things that, you know, making samples, do you need to do them for your business to be successful? I would say so, yes, personally. I don't know if y'all would agree, but I definitely think you need to be giving samples out. But is that an income producing task? Making them? No. Giving them is. So delegate making the samples to a teeny bopper in your neighborhood, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's just being wise with the time. You're the CEO of your business. Either you're acting like a CEO or you're acting like an employee, and doing things like spending all this time making samples and, you know, designing flyers and stuff. That's not what a CEO would do. The CEO is the face. The CEO is booking the parties, having the recruiting conversations. That's what a CEO would be doing. So
another thing too is if you only have 30 minutes to do something, pick the thing you want to do the least, because it's probably what matters the most. Like, if you hate calling people, that's what you need to be doing in your 30 minutes. If you hate following up with customers, it's probably what your 30 minutes needs to be filled with. If it's something you just love to do, like making samples and making flyers, and you're like, that's what I'll spend 30 minutes doing because I can watch One Tree Hill while I do it. Maybe do the thing you want to do the least, because a lot of times it's probably what you need to do the most, is what I have found personally. Is if I'm really dreading making a certain phone call or trying to go book like if I'm like, I need to book like 5 parties this month and I'm dreading it and dragging my feet, pretty sure that's the first thing I should actually be doing in my 30 minutes versus putting it off and not ever getting to it.
Eat that frog.
If
you haven't read that, if you have not read that book, you need to read the book, Eat That Frog.
My team is reading Take the Stairs Together right now. It's one of my favorites about that right now. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's life-changing. It changed my life. Not even joking. But we're reading it together and doing like a kind of a weekly check-in on it. So we just finished the intro and they're all already dying and loving it. So I'm pretty psyched about it. So that's my favorite book. If you get a chance to read that one is extremely straight to the point, super impactful. And anything he says is gold to me. So I just do whatever he says. But it's Take the Stairs by Rory Vaden.
Awesome. Now we have a book recommendation on top of all the other great information we've gotten. I love it. Love it.
Jamie, can I add one more thing? I know we're running
Yes,
late.
ma'am.
People stay if they want to listen. I ran into something today in our Dash to Director group that I thought was pretty vital to understand, that we often talk about how we can't find balance between work and life, and that there is no such thing as balance between work and life. And you know, we hear the different aspects of that. People say, well, yeah, you can. Some people say, no, you can't. I had kind of an epiphany today. You are going to have life. You're going to have work. You're going to have your 30 minutes of work, and you're going to have the rest of it here in your life scale. There's always going to be this going on. So that's why when people say there's no balance in your life and work, because there's never going to be an equal amount of time for both, which is why I always tell people, incorporate your business into your life. And so like what Katie was saying that Chloe does is she is incorporating her business into the time slots that she has available during her life, during her lifetime processes and things that she does. So don't think that you're ever going to find an equal balance between work and life. And that's why all of us tonight are saying, if you've only got 30 minutes, then make it as valuable as you possibly can, because the rest of it is going to be spent in your lifetime, right? In your life nugget, in your life chunk. So yeah, I mean, I think that all of the things that were shared tonight were extremely valuable tips and tricks to really allocate those income producing activities into a shorter amount of time. And the more we do that, right, the more we have time to spend with our family. And ultimately that's what direct sales is all about, so that we have time to spend with our family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, girls. Well, I hope that everyone at least walked away with one little bit of information. I know I have a couple things that I want to be doing later this week on top of my life, which is taxi mom. And regatta mom and team mom and all that good stuff. So next month, the first Monday falls on June 5th. Does that interfere with any incentive trips or anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so we should be good for June 5th. So we will see all of you guys next month on June 5th. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.